Iran has the fifth largest fossil fuels as defined by gas and oil in the world, and they don't have that large of a population. In other words, they don't need any other source of energy for the rest of their existence. So when they want a nuclear program, it is for one purpose: to enrich uranium up to 90%, to get enough enriched uranium to build 10 or 12 bombs. I don't know how many of those they already have, maybe one or two. If the United States were to preempt, or Israel was to preempt and hit their nuclear facilities, they wouldn't be sure that there's not 3 or 4 bombs. And because Rafsanjani is in the past, one of the prior prime ministers said it's a one-bomb state, he had a point. The Iranians have been very macabre about that. They have said, we like the idea that half the Jews are in one state because it's a one-bomb state. We can get rid of them.
Welcome back to Expert Playback. Victor Davis Hanson just exposed the basic truth behind the new Axis powers. Iran has oil wealth but builds centrifuges anyway. That's not energy policy, that's weapons development. Iran's proxies are crushed, air defense is exposed, economy collapsing. The window for action is closing. 60% enrichment today means weapons grade tomorrow. And Tehran's leaders openly brag that Israel is a one-bomb state. With that chilling baseline, let's see why Hanson thinks the next move belongs to Donald Trump, and why time is running out.
He knows that right now, in this window, at this moment, he has more leverage than any other president has had in the half century into which these fanatics came into power. There is no Assad Arab receptacle for their terrorist money and arms to disperse. There is no Hezbollah to speak of for another year, maybe. There is no Hamas. They're in the tunnels. And the Houthis may send a missile, but they are scattered. And Iran has no air defenses. Israel proved that to the world. So if Donald Trump wants to take out its nuclear facilities, he can do it with minimal risk. So can Israel. That's a lot of pressure. So he thinks that he's going to tell them, this is your last chance over the next couple of months. You can negotiate a deal with us, and you will get to keep your regime. But we do not want you to send money to the Middle East, all of your tentacles. They're cut off. And I just don't believe they're ever going to do that.
Hanson frames Trump's leverage in stark terms. Iran's proxies are battered, its air defense is humiliated, and its economy on life support. That puts Tehran in a corner, yet the White House too faces a deadline. Maximum pressure can only last so long before the window for a clean strike closes. Iran may be cornered, but cornered regimes don't surrender. They sprint toward the bomb.
They have power outages, they have minority resistance, they have popular pushback, but none of that in the past 50 years, even the Green Revolution that Obama basically ignored or wanted to fail, they've never been able to overthrow that government because it runs by terror. And I don't think they will be able to. So sometime at the end of the year, one of two things will happen. They will feel the squeeze so much that they will try to cut a deal. And if they do cut a deal, I can guarantee you they will break the deal in some manner or other. That's who they are. And that means I think we have a rendezvous with a big decision sometime between August and October. And that will be Donald Trump will exhaust every measure, and then we'll see why he's doing this new 2.0 Iran deal, given he trashed the original one. People look to what the Israelis did with Saddam Hussein's reactor in I think it was 80 or 81, and what they did to Bashar Assad's nuclear reactor, and it was a clean sweep. There were no others. But this is different. And if you were going to do it, you're going to have to get a week to 10 days of diplomatic cover, and you're going to have all your resources, and you have to be on guard, because if you start doing this and China goes into Taiwan, or Russia starts to do another Kiev, Thunder Road, you're going to be in big trouble, because you're going to have to deal with multi-crises. You're going to have to, it seems to me, their missile defenses are being rebuilt. You're going to have to take all of them out again. You're going to have to take their seaports out, You're going to have to take all their airfields out. You're going to have to make sure that they are emasculated military. It could take 2 or 3 weeks. And then you can imagine the domestic upheaval here, what we see in LA, the riots, at least something like that. Because we know the left sympathizes with Iran, the Palestinians, Hamas, Hezbollah, and they will have no shame in demonstrating on behalf of a wicked theocracy if it's attacked by it.
Sanctions have pushed Iran to the brink, but Hanson warns the harder choice is domestic. Any strike could ignite protests at home and chaos abroad. A fast Osirak-style raid may stop the bomb, but will Trump's MAGA base of anti-war supporters stomach the blowback? The left will demonstrate for Iran just like they did for other adversaries. The question becomes whether stopping nuclear Iran is worth the domestic chaos that follows.
If you think that it's an existential threat, then it's going to have to be taken out, and that's going to be done in the fall, and that's going to cause a big rift here at home because the economy will be roaring, I think, given all the investment, tax cuts will be in, and then you'll have a disruption in the world oil market. Once you start bombing, you don't know what's going to happen. And the MAGA base, J.D. Vance, Tucker Carlson, all of those people have said they don't want this to happen. But the Iranians are not going to give up their nuclear program. They look at what happened to Libya, just to take one example. In 2006, Gaddafi had all these centrifuges. Nobody had the same discussion. He's crazy. If he has a bomb, what will we do? And then he gave it up because he was scared about what happened to Saddam. He gave up his nuclear program. I was in Libya in 2007 when I met Americans that were out looking for centrifuges, and they were staying at a hotel owned by the Maltese. But my point is that once he gave up the nuclear card, Gaddafi was removed from power by the British and the French when they bombed it. And so my point is that Iran knows if they give up the nuclear thing completely, that some country we could get rid of them very quickly.
Hanson's bottom line: stopping Iran means gambling with global stability and America's own political fault lines. Trump can wait and risk a nuclear Iran, or act and brace for protests, oil shocks, and a new wave of great power brinkmanship. Either path could redefine the 21st century Middle East and the 2025 presidency. This isn't just about preventing Iran from getting the bomb, it's about preventing them from using one on Israel.
And Israel, one way or the other, is going to be blamed because they'll say the Jews did it. So it's going to be a very volatile time this autumn.
If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button so more people see it. And if you want more sharp takes on global power plays, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.